Hand cannons have come a long way in Destiny 2, especially from the game's initial launch, but for some still suffer a feeling of inconsistency on controller. Lucky Pants, though, is an essential exotic that I believe solves what I'll call the hand cannon problem. So what is the inconsistency, or I'll say this lightly, issue with hand cannons? Well, hand cannons on controller have generally felt a degree of inconsistency or sometimes feel a little bit janky, and this is of course further amplified, although it doesn't have any sort of different behavior or mechanics, by consoles' lower FPS and FOV. Hand cannons on controllers sometimes feel like they have potentially jarring or inconsistent recoil patterns, but I think since the Shadowkeep update that addressed the recoil animation of the hand cannons, this has generally been a lot better, but I still think the 150 hand cannons are a bit bouncy. But more importantly than this, there are accuracy mechanics, more commonly known in the community as quote-unquote bloom, which describes the accuracy cone of a hand cannon expanding past its initial accuracy, where the weapon feels most consistent and is most likely to land headshots easily. The behavior of hand cannons contrasts though a bit with mouse and keyboard usage being the most consistent weapons available, especially to take advantage of the precision that mouse and keyboard has to offer, especially for those top tier players, and they do have a bit less recoil or tighter recoil, of course, to account for the fact that when you're using a mouse you need space or a mouse mat, and that is not an unlimited range of motion like a control stick is. Nonetheless though, it is a contributing factor to the consistency and great performance of hand cannons with mouse and keyboard though. More importantly, we found out that through learning more about accuracy, aim assist, range, and stability and how they work together, we could actually tell that mouse and keyboard gets inherently higher accuracy. This piqued my interest and made me realize the importance of accuracy, as in my opinion it's the most important factor in a weapon's performance. If you want to see the entire breakdown of this and how accuracy, aim assist, stability, and range work, I have a pretty lengthy video outlining this. I highly suggest watching it as a basis to understand most of my videos and discussions. But anyways, back on topic, I believe accuracy is the X factor for consistent performance on many weapons, especially in my experience hand cannons, possibly above all. This of course is because hand cannons punish you after about the second shot, at least most noticeably after the second shot. I want to say third shot onwards, it's pretty noticeable for firing at max rate of fire. As you shoot a hand cannon at max rate of fire, your accuracy cone expands, your bullets become a little bit less accurate, and your aim assist diminishes through your aim assist cone tightening and diminishing a little bit. So missing that third shot or not taking just a short split-second break between shots to pace your shot and line it up correctly could cause you to miss, and possibly repeatedly if you don't pace yourself just a tiny little bit. It's, I think, meant to reward people who again are taking the split second to line up their shot and play to land their shots instead of trying to slam the hand cannon at max rate of fire and have that be the intention. We can also tell that accuracy was incredibly important through some of the popular weapons in the history of the Destiny 2 meta, not just through mouse and keyboard's performance with hand cannons and lack of accuracy, or that bloom effect we'll call it. The precision archetype hand cannons of course have that inherently higher accuracy level, which gives them not only less bloom, but due to a higher inherent accuracy level also have better in-air accuracy, which of course can be stacked further, I found out, with Icarus mods. And it's for this reason that the precision hand cannons, aside from their lack of recoil, feel so consistent. And it's why the Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl are the most consistent hand cannons on controller. Now this is where Lucky Pants fit in. Lucky Pants' illegally modded holster buff increases the accuracy of hand cannons for 5 seconds, an effect that appears to greatly reduce the quote-unquote bloom effect and maintain the hand cannon's accuracy to near initial accuracy levels, once again its most consistent state. This means that you can fire at max rate of fire, no real pacing required, and maintain near initial accuracy for 5 seconds, which is plenty, ensuring consistency for your hand cannon, of course, when you're in 1v1 gunfights. Despite any hand cannon recoil, I find that having this accuracy buff has made a staggering difference in hand cannon effectiveness and consistency, landing headshots far more frequently and reliably, again when in gunfights and despite being flinched at all. Remember though that Lucky Pants is just a tool to be used for one major piece of the puzzle, the quote-unquote bloom effect that people know of, which is basically, again, just naturally how accuracy works in the game. As a controller player though, this gives you more precedence to invest in stability, which helps maintain the aim assist cone further. Lucky Pants maximizing on the accuracy and keeping our weapon very accurate, and stability maximizing on the aim assist cone's persistency. Utilizing high stability to minimize on the recoil and keep the aim assist cone very persistent, and using Lucky Pants to keep the accuracy near initial levels of accuracy is a perfect combination of being able to maximize on the best possible consistency on a hand cannon, very much so, especially with controller. Icarus mods, while effective on controller, aren't enough for my liking. Luckily though, just as the high accuracy of precision hand cannons are able to, Lucky Pants accuracy boost, as far as I know, are stackable with Icarus mods for more impactful airborne accuracy as well, which is a huge plus, again, especially for controller players that I think tend to have a little bit more of a struggle with this. Lucky Pants, in my opinion, are essential for controller players that have the option to run them if you are a hunter main and if you're someone that uses hand cannons very frequently, but they still definitely have some pretty good points of functionality that are still relevant to mouse and keyboard players. Lucky Pants offer instant draw speed for hand cannons, the fastest draw speed possible in the game, that does of course exceed that of quick draw and is independent of the handling stat. This means you'll get the fastest swap speed between a sniper or a shotgun damage, so if you body shot someone with a sniper or deal some damage with a shotgun, you're going to be able to swap fast as possible to clean up with your primary hand cannon because it'll be instant, again, for the fastest possible kill in that scenario, which again, especially against some pretty good players who are very skilled at this, many people have quick draw snipers or quick draw shotguns and high handling hand cannons, they're going to be able to swap quickly and clean you up. You will be able to do that faster with this because you can do so instantaneously, as you have a faster swap speed than quick draw. And because the draw speed of Lucky Pants ignores the handling stat, this also means you won't be as dependent on a high handling hand cannon as well. Unfortunately though, for whatever reason, the instant swap doesn't work while you're sprinting, which I really hope is changed in the future. Because Lucky Pants also give a boost to in-air accuracy, as I mentioned, being a general boost to accuracy, it's applicable to exotics that lack the ability to utilize an Icarus mod as well. Powerful hand cannons like Thorn as the best example I could say that aren't as consistent as other hand cannons, especially for some top level MNK players who value it most as things like spare rations or the other legendary options that can utilize an Icarus mod can actually gain more consistent in-air performance through the Lucky Pants buff. So this would be an interesting pairing to make up for that and give yourself a pseudo Icarus mod for an exotic that would otherwise not be able to get that. And going back to my previous point, this is going to allow some top tier players to get a shotgun in, jump backwards on Hunter, swap instantly to your Thorn, and just have hyper accuracy to clean up the kill in a faster time than your opponent would. I think that Lucky Pants do make a pretty good case for the top level player's playstyle, at least in my opinion. So of course, as much as it has a debatable level of usage or usefulness for mouse and keyboard, and it's not quite the essential pick I would say and recommend as an essential pick for controller, it still has some great applications. So if you're a mouse and keyboard player, maybe you want to try this out, I'm not sure, but for controller players, I really think you need to be using this. I've hopped between this exotic a few times now in the past. Sometimes I've been on it and using it and I know the bonuses of it, and then I try and stray away from it and use something else, but always when I put this exotic back on and I utilize it, I notice it so very clearly all the time, and it boosts my consistency a ton. I think the weapon that Lucky Pants impacts most obviously is the last word, making the hipfire far more consistent, as well as negating the whole animation that's of course really cool, but not the most practical when you're trying to draw the weapon. You just want to be able to draw it instantly and start firing, and this lets you do that. But this exotic now stays on with pretty much any hand cannon. It gives it just the inherent buff that the precisions have, like the Not Forgotten. It has the inherent precision accuracy buff, except to pretty much any hand cannon. When I'm using Waking Vigil or Spare Rations, I am always using Lucky Pants. With Not Forgotten, I don't use it simply because, again, it's already inheriting its own precision accuracy buff, but then again, sometimes I still do use it with Lucky Pants because it solves the problem of its very low handling and swap speed. Anyways, that's all I've got to say about Lucky Pants. Again, I can't stress it enough. If you have the option to try these out and you're looking for better consistency with hand cannons, especially to combat auto rifles since they're incredibly lethal right now, do try these out. If you're a controller player, I think this is essential. Try it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always though, thank you so much for watching the video, and if you'd like to see more content like this, I stream very frequently on Twitch, twitch.tv/Drewskis, link is in the description. I hope to see you there, but if not, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.